Hello guys, welcome to another video. This one is paper 1 of October-November 2001 for Math O-Level. So let's move on to question number 1. So first question, we have to find the value of 0.2 times 0.45. So as always, the first step is to ignore the decimal place. We just do 2 times 45. So 2 times 45 will be 90. And now here we have 1 decimal place, and here we have 2 decimal place. Together we have 3 decimal place. So we count 1, 2, and 3. So your answer will be 0.090. That is for part A. Now for part B, here we have 1, 3 over 5 divided by 2, 1 over 3. So the first step is to expand those fractions. Because they are mixed numbers, it is hard to do. We have to expand them first. So 1 times 5 plus 3 is 8 over 5 divided by 2 times 3 plus 1 is 7 over 3. This is equal to 8 over 5. Divide becomes multiply, and then we have to reverse this one. The denominator goes up and the numerator will go down. So you have to flip it upside down. Now this will be the value. So 8 times 3 will be 24 over 35. So your answer for part B will be 24 over 35. That is question number 1. Now question number 2, we have to find the value of this and this. So first one, so how can we rewrite this value? Okay, we can write down this as 81 divided by, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if you apply square root on this, you will have square root of 81 over square root of 10,000, right? Now this is simply equal to 9 over 100. That will be 0.09. The answer for part A will be 0.09. So you have to know that, so just to explain this one, 10,000 is equal to 100 square. So square root of that will be 100. That's why we know 9 over 100 will be this value, that is 41. Now for part B, we have to simplify this. Now 7 power 3. So whenever you have times and they have the same base, it becomes plus. But here we have minus 3, so plus minus 3 will be 7 power 0, that will be 1. Anything power 0 is 1, so your answer is 1. Now let's move on to question number 3. So on 4 occasions, a bus takes the following times to complete the journey. Okay, on these 4 occasions, we have 4 times to complete the journey. Now, by first expressing these times in minutes, then write them in order of size, starting with the smallest. So first, let's express them in minutes. So for this one, it is 1 times 3 plus 2 is 5 over 3. We have to multiply by 60 to convert this to minutes. That will become 20. That will be 100 minutes. That is for the first one. And for this one, same steps. So 1.7 times 60. So 0 will go away. That will move by 1 decimal place. 17 times 6, that will be what? So 7 times 6 should be 42. And 1 times 6 will be 6 plus 4 is 102. That is number 2. Now for this one, it is 1 hour is 60 minutes plus this. That should be 60 plus 39. That will be 99 minutes for this one. And for this one, that should be 1 times 4 plus 3. That will be 7 over 4 times 60. That will be 1. That will be 15. Now 7 times 15, that should be 7 times 5 is 35, and that will be 105. Now we compare each value. Which one is the smallest? Smallest one is this one, which is the third one, so 99 minutes. And then we have this one, 100. And then we have this one, 102, and then 105. Okay, that is question number 3. Now let's move on to question number 4. We have a mark M on a cliff. This is your cliff right here. This is your point M. It is 1.96 meters below sea level at high tide. At high tide, and this is 1.96 meters below the high tide is your point M. Now at low tide, the sea level is 4.18 meters lower than at high tide. So meaning this distance here, this whole distance, high tide to low tide, is given to you by 4.18. Now question part 1. How far M is above the sea level at low tide? So we have to find this distance. So pretty easy. That will be 4.18 minus 1.96. That will be 2, 3, that will be 2, and then 2. So your answer for part 1 will be 2.22. Okay, now next one. At a certain time, the sea level is exactly halfway between the high tide and the low tide. So what is exactly halfway? Let's find out. It is 4.18 divided by 2 is exactly halfway. That will be 2.09. So 2.09 is exactly halfway. So this will be 2.09 and 2.09. Okay, that's where the sea level is at that time. Now, how far is the sea level below M at this point? So pretty easy. We just have to find the difference. So 2.09 minus the point M is 1.96. That will be 9 minus 6 is 3. This is 1. And here you have 10. That will be 1. Your answer will be 0.13. And this is your answer for question number 4. Now question number 5. Using the information given in the advertisement shown, find the sales price of the table. Okay, so one by one, you observe that it shows all price reduced by 30% and the discount is 30%. So you realize that the 30% actually means the amount it is reduced by, which is 180. Now, the initial price, as you guys must know, we always call the initial price as 100%. Now, what is the sales price? The sales price will be, after you minus the discount, it will be 70%, if that makes sense, because that is your initial price minus your discount. So 100 minus 30, that should be 70. So now we have to find that sales price. So 70% will be equal to 180 divided by 30 times 70. Let's simplify. This 2 will go away. Divide by 3, you will have 60. Your answer will be 420. Okay, so that is your answer for question number 5, 420, for the sales price of the product. So question number 6, we have to complete the diagram to make a quadrilateral ABCD which has a rotational symmetry of order 2. Now, first thing is, what is a quadrilateral? It is any shape which has 4 sides. Okay, now it has a rotational symmetry of order 2. Now order 2 means 360 divided by 2, that will be 180. Okay, so what shapes you know has rotational symmetry of order 2? So you know we have a rectangle. We also have a parallelogram. So because this one is in this shape, it should be a parallelogram. So let's draw a parallelogram. So you can use a compass, or you can just draw by your eyes. So just try your best to make this work. So it should be parallel to each other, should be in this direction, and this should be kind of straight line in this direction. Of course, you will be using a pencil, so you can always erase the parts that is above or below. So should be about this point. Okay, that will be your point D of the shape ABCD, and this one has a rotational symmetry of order 2. So now if you really want to understand what does it mean, it means that if you were to rotate this by 180, so 180, it needs to be the same shape. So let's try 180, you have the same shape. 180 again, you have the same shape. So that's what it means. It has order of symmetry, rotational symmetry of order 2. That's what it means. Now for part B, complete the diagram to make the quad PQRS, which has PR as its line of symmetry. So now have a look. We are saying that PR is the line of symmetry. So we have to reflect this part over this side. So just try your best to make this perpendicular to the other side. So that should be about 1.5, 1.65. 1.5 should be about this point. So in that case, we just have to join this to this point, and then this to this point to form the other side of this shape. As you can see, PR now is the line of symmetry of this shape, which is a quadrilateral PQRS. This is your point S. This is your question number 6. Now let's move on to question number 5. We have to express correct to 2SF these numbers. So let's have a look at one by one. So first one, we have 386.71. So 2SF, we have to first leave the two numbers alone, as if this number is more or equal to 5. If yes, we have to add 1 to the first two. So 38 plus 1 will be 39, and the rest will become 0. That is, the first one will be 390. Now for this one, you have 0.020499. At first, you don't count the zeros, you start with a number, so we leave these two by itself because it is 2SF. And you look at this number and you ask yourself if it is more or equal to 5. If it is not, then we convert this to 0. So your answer will be 0.020. That is your answer for this part 2. So 0.020. Now for part B, hence means we have to use your answer from part 1. Estimate the correct to 1SF now, 1SF, the value of this. So this one, as you have seen, we have to use as 390 times 0.02. Now as always, we like to first multiply the numbers itself. We like to ignore the decimal place first. So what is 390 times 2? That will be 0, 18, 7. That will be 780, right? And now we have two decimal places, so we have to move 1, 2. So your answer will be 7.80. But now, of course, your answer have to be correct to 1SF. So we'll leave the first one by itself. You ask yourself if this number is more or equal to 5. If it is, we have to add 1 to the beginning. So it will become 8 for your answer, correct to 1SF. So that will be your question number 7. So here we have to factorize completely. Let's see what can we do. So for the first one, we see that here we have 9a minus 12a squared. Now you can take out a, and you can also take out 3. You'll have 3 minus 4a. Okay, that is your first answer. And now for this one, if you observe, you will have 2y squared minus 1 squared, which is 2y plus 1 and 2y minus 1. And for this one, we have to factorize. X squared is x times x. 12a is 4 times 3. To get minus 7, we have to have minus 3 minus 4 to get minus 7. That will be your answer for question number 8. Now question number 9. The population of a country was 13.1 million. Okay. Part A, 900,000 of the population were at least 2 meters tall. How many of these were less than 2 meters tall? So 900,000 is 9, 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. So these were at least 2 meters tall. Now we have to minus to find the number who is less than 2 meters tall. So 13.1 million is 10 power 6. We have to minus 9.0, 10 power 5. because if you count, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 power 5. Now you cannot minus when the powers are different. You have to make it become the same power. So we will send 1 0 over here. You will have 131 times 10 power 5 minus 9 times 10 power 5. So 131 minus 9 times 10 power 5. So what is this answer? This will be 1. So let's try. So I need to check. So 121 minus 9, 131 minus 9, that will be 2. That will be 2 as well. 2, 1. So 122 times 10 power 5. So your answer will be, how many were less than 2 meters tall? You can write 122 times 10 power 5. Or you can expand everything. It is up to you. It will be your first answer. Now part B, 0.2% of the population were over 95 years old. How many were over 95? So 0.2% is 0.2 over 100% times the population was 13.1 10 power 64 million. Now we can just take out 20 here. That will become, so take out 20, that will be 4. Now 0.2 is also 2 divided by 10. So we can take out another 0 from here, become 3. And then we can send 1 0 here. It will become 2 times 30. So 131 times 10 power 2. That will be 262 times 10 power 2, which we can write as 26212. So this many people is over 95 years old. So of course, this you don't need to do the same way as me. You can always do step by step. As you can see, I was just lazy. I did this pretty slowly, but you get the idea. Always step by step, you will find your answer eventually. So that will be your question number 9. Now question number 10, solve the inequality. Solving means to find the value of x, so we have to find the value of x from this. So we have minus 5 in between 2x plus 3 less than 1. So now we have to make x become the subject of formula. So first thing we have to do, minus 3 everywhere. You will have 2x, now will be minus 2, now will be minus 8. Now divide by 2 everywhere, you will have x between minus 1, and that will be minus 4. So your answer will be between minus 4 and minus 1. Now write down the largest integer x which satisfies this equation. So same equation. So as you can see, x is between minus 4, we have minus 3, minus 2, and minus 1. But these two are not inclusive, so only these two are inclusive. So what is the largest integer x? It will be minus 2. Okay. Now question number 11. These numbers 168 and 324 written as a product of its prime factors are given below. Okay, part 1. You have to find the square root of 324. So pretty easy. What does square root mean? Square root means power of half, right? So you have square root of 324 means 2 power 2 times 3 power 4 power half. That will be 2 power 1 times 3 power 2, which is 2 times 9, that will be 18. So 18 will be your first answer. Now for part B, we have to find the largest integer, which is whole number, which is a factor of both this and this. So in that case, we have to find basically the highest common factor, the HCF. So 168 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 7. And 324 is 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 3 and times 3. So to find the HCF, we have to find what is common. So this 2 is common, common, common. So your answer will be 2 times 2 and times 3. That is 4 times 3, that will be 12. 12 will be your answer for part B, the highest common factor. Now for part C, we have to find the smallest positive integer value of n, for which this one is a multiple of this. Okay, so same way, we just have to find the smallest value of n for which it is a multiple of this. So let's see what can we have. So we write down the same things. 168 is equal to 2 power 3 times 3 times 7. Okay, and we have 324 equal to 2 power 2n 3 power 4. Now, what does it mean to be a multiple of this number? It means that we have to multiply this by n, something we don't know, n, right, times n, such that this number will be divisible by this number. So let's see. So we have to divide those two together. Let's see what remains. So this one will go away. You have 1 here. And this one will also, this one will become 1, it will be 3. So right now you will have 2 times 7 times n over 3 power 3. Now, for it to be divisible by this number, we need this to equal to this, if that makes sense, so that we can cancel those out, and then you have something as an integer value. So in that case, n has to be equal to 3 power 3, so that you can divide, and then you can get an answer which is integer value. That's when you show that it is a multiple of this number. Okay, that will be 27. So your answer will be 27 for the smallest positive value of n, for which this one is a multiple of this. So just to recap, what does it mean again? For it to be a multiple of this, it needs to be divisible by this number. So basically, when you would divide those two, you will have an integer value, and only then you can say it is a multiple of this number. So we take this on top, divide by this number on the below, then you will just simplify, and you will have 2 times 7 times n over 3 power 3. But now, for it to be divisible, you realize that n has to be this number, so n has to be 27, so that we can cancel those two, and you will obtain a whole number or an integer as your answer. That's why we conclude n has to be 27. Okay, that will be question number 11. Now, question number 12. The distance traveled by an object was 230 meters, correct to the nearest 10 meters. Okay. Now, the time taken was 7 seconds, correct to the nearest second, which means 1 second. Okay. Now, part 1. Complete the statements in the answer below. And then we have to, what was the least possible average speed for this journey? So let's first write down the upper and lower bounds of these values. So first distance we have is 230 plus minus, we have 10 divided by 5 up and down. That will be divided by 2, sorry, not 5, 2, that will be 5. So upper will be 235 and 225. So for time, we take 7 seconds plus minus 1 over 2, that will be 7.5 and 6.5. Okay, so first one, so here we have distance has to be between 225 and 235. Time has to be between 6.5 and 7.5. Okay, so that will be the first answer. Now for part B, we have to find the least possible average speed for the journey. Now, what is the formula for average speed? You would say average speed is equal to distance divided by time. So to find the least value for that, you have to take the minimum distance, which is 225, divided by time. You have to find the maximum time, right? So that you get the minimum value for that division. So let's do this. So let's first multiply by 10 on both sides, because we want to take off this decimal place. You have 2250 over 75. Now let's divide by 5. You will have 1, 2, 1, 5. By 5 you have 4, 5. So 4 times 5, 250. Divide by 5 again. You will have, so divide by 15 directly if you want to. You will have here 30. Your answer will be 30 meters per second for the least possible average speed for the journey. That will be your answer for question number 12. Now let's move on to question number 13. Given that f of x is equal to this function, we have to find out f of 2.5. So let's do this. F of 2.5 will be, replace x by this value. You will have 2 times 2.5 plus 5 over 2.5. That will be 10 over 2.5, and that should be 4. Now for this one, f inverse, as always we do, is let y equal to f of x, which is equal to 2x plus 5 over x. Then we have to cross multiply. You have xy equal to 2x plus 5. Then we send x to one side. You will have xy minus 2x equal to 5. Factorize x outside will be y minus 2 equal to 5. So x will be 5 divided by y minus 2. So of course you have to write down f inverse of x in terms of x. That will be 5 over x minus 2. That will be your answer for question 13. Now let's move on to question 14. So we have a graph right here. The graph is a cumulative frequency curve showing the marks gained by 300 students. Okay, so we know in total we have 300 candidates. Now part A, we have to use the curve to estimate the median mark. So median mark will be the middle value, which is half of 300. That will be the 150th value. So go to your graph, go to 150th and find the corresponding value. Now, so according to my graph, it is 50. So your answer is 50 marks for the first one. Now for part 2, the number of candidates who gain 33 marks or less. So go to the marks and find 33. Should be somewhere about here. So let's check. This is 35 actually. So 32, 33 should be here. My bad. Should be here, not the other one. That will be your answer. So what is this value? This is 30. So 10, 20, 30. So your answer will be 30. Candidates gain 30 marks or less. Now for part B, it is given that 70 students achieve a grade A. Okay, use the curve to estimate the smallest mark required for a grade A. So we know that 70 students achieved a grade A. So let's see. So for you to achieve a grade A, you have to earn on the top end of the mark. So 70. So 300 minus 70, that should be 230. 230 should be right here. So your value, the marks will be 60. So according to the graph, that should be 60 as your answer. So write down the value here is 50, 30, and 60 for your answers for question number 14. Now let's move on to question number 15. So here we have y is inversely proportional to x plus 2. So let's write this down in terms of an equation. Y is inversely proportional to x plus 2. So let's change this sign to equal. So you will have y is equal to k over x plus 2. So this is your answer for part 1, where you have to write down an expression for y in terms of x and k. This is your answer for part 1. Now for part 2, it is given that y is equal to 4 when x is equal to 3. So replace the values back in your equation. You have 4 here, k on top, and 3 plus 2. That will be 4, k on top, that is 5. So value of k has to be 20. So now you have your equation as y is equal to 20 over x plus 2. Now from this point on, we have to find the value of y when x is equal to 8. Replace back in your equation, you will have y is equal to 20 divided by 10, that will be 2. So your answer will be y is equal to, first one is this one, k over x plus 2, and then 2 as your answer for part B. That is question 15. Now question 16, not 18, 16. A car travels 144 km in h hours. Good to know. Now write down in its simplest form an expression in terms of h for the average speed in meters per second. So now, what do we have from part 1? We know that in h hours, it traveled 144 km. Now we have to convert this to meters per second. So first, let's convert h hours to seconds. So you have to know that 1 hour is equal to 3,600 seconds, right? So h hours will be h times this seconds, okay? Equal to, so change that to meters. So 144, 1, 2, 3 meters. Now we can simplify. So per this time means per second, per 1 second. So 1 second, we have to divide everywhere by this number. You will have 144,000 divided by 3600h. So simplify. Divide by 12. You will have 3. You will have 12 here. 1 have 4. Your answer will be 40 over h meters per second. That is your answer in terms of h for A. Now for part B, we have to solve this equation. Solving means find the value of x for that equation. So always step by step. Let's first expand this. So let's do this here. Expand, you will have 6x minus 21 is equal to 6 minus 8 plus 4x. Now send all the x to one side. You will have 2x here because 6 minus 4 is 2. And then this will be 6 minus 8 will be minus 2. Minus 2 plus this will be 19. X will be 19 divided by 2. That is your value of x. That is question 16. Let's move on to question number 17. So we have A, B, and C are 3 towns, A, B, and C. Now C is equidistant from A and B, okay. Now the bearing of C from A is 132 and BAC is 75. Okay, so part 1. A, we have to find the acute angle ACB. So ACB. So pretty easy because we know that ABC is an isosceles triangle. So this angle and this have to be the same. So this one will be the third angle of a triangle. So that will be, let's do this here, 180 minus 2 times 75 is 150. That will be 30 degrees. So first one will be 30 degrees. Now for part 2, we have to find the reflex angle ACB. ACB, reflex angle will be this one. So that will be 360 minus 30, that should be 330. Now for part B, we have to find the bearing of A from C. A from C. So pretty easy. So we have to find this one. Let me use a different color here. Of A from C, we have to find this angle. The blue one. So here we have to play a bit with the shapes to see what's happening. So that will be, let's continue this. Oh, this has a straight line. Just to help us to find the value, okay? So here we have, so this is 180, you agree, right? So what is this angle here? So that will be 180 minus 132. That will be 7, 10, that will be 8, 48. So this will be 48. Now if this is 48, this has to be 48 as well. And if we want to find the blue angle, we have to take 360 minus 48. 5, 10, 2, 1, 3. So your value will be 3, 1, 2. That will be the first part. And for part C, we have to find the bearing of A from B. The bearing of A from B, so we have to find this angle. So this angle is the same as this angle. So this angle is what? It is 75 minus 48. That will be 27. So that is the value for this. Okay, that is 17. Let's move on to 18. The ratio of the areas of the bases of two geometrically similar buckets is 4 to 9. So that is the ratio of the areas. So now you have to think about what is the unit of area, because you know area is centimeter square, right? So the area ratio, it is centimeter square, it is 4 to 9. But what is the ratio of this side? So you know side has to be centimeter. So how do you convert centimeter square to centimeter? You have to apply square root. That will become 2 and 3. So that is the ratio of the side. So it is good to know following those questions. Now part 1 is the area of the top of the smaller bucket is 480. What is the area of the top of the larger bucket? So using this A ratio, so we know this is 480. We have to find this one. So use ratio. 4 is equal to 480. So 9 has to equal to 480 divided by 4 times 9. Divided by 4, you will have 12. Times 9 will be 0. 2 times 9 is 18. That will be 10. So your answer will be 1080. Now for part B, we have to write down the ratio of the heights of the two buckets. So heights, as I mentioned, heights, the unit of height is centimeter. The ratio, as you can see, we have found that already. It is 2 to 3. That is the answer here. Now for part C, both buckets are filled with sand. The mass of sand in the larger bucket is 36 kg, and then find the mass of sand in the smaller bucket. Now the mass is same as volume. You have to find the ratio of volume. Now same thing here. Volume, the unit is centimeter cube, right? How do you convert this to cube? You have to apply power 3. That will become 8 and 27. Power 3. So now we know that the mass of the larger bucket is 36. So 27 is equal to 36. Now we have to find the smaller one, which is 8. That will be 36 divided by 27 times 8. Divide by 9, you will have 3 here. Divide by 9, you will have 4 here. So your answer will be 32 over 3. That's the mass of sand in the smaller bucket. Now, of course, you can always divide and provide your answer to 3SF. That is up to you. Or you can just simplify this as, so 10. That will be 10, 2 over 3 kg as your answer. Now this will be your answer number 18. Let's move on to question 19. Now given that A is equal to this matrix, B equal to this matrix, find A minus 2B. Now A is same thing, 4, 2, 3, 1 minus 2B. So first let's send the 2 inside. You will have 4 minus 4, 0 minus 2. So you will have 4 minus 4 is 0. That will be 2. That will be 6. And that will be 3. Your answer is 0, 6, 3, 3. Now for part B, we have to find the determinant of A. So we have to just cross multiply 4 times 1 minus 2 times 3. That will be 4 minus 6. That will be minus 2. Your answer will be minus 2. Now for part C, we have to find A inverse. So pretty easy. We have to first find the adjoint matrix of A. That will be, we have to switch the positions. 1 will go up, 4 will go down. And switch the signs. Plus will become minus. So you will have this. Now A inverse is defined by 1 over determinant. So 1 over minus 2 times your adjoint matrix, which is this one. Okay, so this will be your answer, which is minus 1 over 2 times 1 minus 2 minus 3 and 4. That is question number 19. Now for 20, on the Venn diagram shown in the answer space, shade the set P intersecting Q union R. So P intersecting Q is this one. Union R will be this big one. So you have this and this. Okay, that is part A. Now, express in set notations as simply as possible the shaded set in the Venn diagram. So just give me 1 sec, I have to check which one is shaded. I'll be right back with you. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, so according to the paper itself, this will be the region that is shaded. Okay, so there's many ways to write this. One way is to write A intersecting B prime. Okay, that will be part B. So everything outside of B and in A. Okay, that will be part B. Now part 3 we have part C. So we have there are 34 children in a class. Okay, of these 22 take history, 19 take geography, and 5 take neither history nor geography. Okay, so if you draw a Venn diagram, you will understand what's happening. So we have two sets. This is history, this is geography. So we have 5 outside take neither, and inside here we don't know who takes both, but we know this is 22 minus x, this is 19 minus x. So we want to find the number of children who takes history but not geography, so only history. So let's add everything together. 22 minus x plus 19 minus x plus 5, that will be 34 children in total, right? So simplify, this will cancel out. So 22 plus 19 is what? It is 41, right? Let's check. I'm not too sure. Let's check. I think it is 41, but let's check. So 2 plus this will be 11. 1 will go here, that is 41. 41 plus 5 is 46. So you have 46 minus x equal to 34. X will be 46 minus 34. That should be 12. Right. Now, of course, we're not trying to find x here. We are trying to find the number of children who take history but not geography. So only this side, which is 22 minus x, that will be 10 as your answer. So 22 minus 12 will be 10. That will be question number 20. Let's move on to question number 21. Interesting question. So let's see, what do we have here. So we have triangle ABC given to us. So part 1, we have to find the length on BC. So BC, we can just find them by using your formula. So we know the point B and the point C. So BC is equal to square root. So first we have to do is C, so x2 minus, so minus this one x1. You will have so 6 minus 2 will be 8 square, plus minus 4 minus this will be minus 6 square. That will be square root of 100. That will be 10. So BC will be 10 according to our formula. Now for part B, we have to find area of triangle ABC. So you can find this by using formula again, by using our formula for arrays. That will be half modulus. A is minus 2, 7. B is minus 2, 2. C is 6 minus 4. And we have to finish with the same point that we start. So finish with minus 2, 7. Now first step is we have to multiply in this direction. So we have half modulus. That will be minus 4 plus 8 plus 42 minus, now in this direction, that will be minus 14 plus 12 plus 8. So let's see what you have here. So that will be 8 plus 42 will be 50. 50 minus 4 is 46. Now this one, 12 plus this will be minus 2. Minus 2 plus this will be 6. So your answer is 40. Half modulus of 40 will be 20. So your area of triangle ABC will be 20. Now for part C, we have to find the value of sine ABC. Now, sine of A, B, and C. So we have to find this one. So how do you find this? So pretty easy as well. If you realize, we know that BC is 10 from part 1, and AB is just this length. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now you know the area of triangle already. It is equal to 20. So how do you usually find the area of triangle? Using your formula, which is half times sine of the angle, which is ABC, times the two sides, 5 and 10. It is giving you 20. So you have to simplify. That will give you this will go away, this will become 5. So sine of ABC is equal to 20 divided by 25. So sine of ABC will be 4 over 5. That is your answer for part C. So in most cases, to find the answers, everything should be related, and then you see that to find the last answer, you have to use the previous two answers. So it's always the same case. You have to see what they're asking you in the first few questions, because the last question, it will be related to the first few questions. Now this will be question number 21. Now question number 22, we have a car starts from rest. Rest means from v equal to 0, that's what it means, and accelerate at a constant rate, which means in a constant rate to a speed of 20 meters per second in 10 seconds. So part 1, we have to find the acceleration. So pretty easy, you know the formula for that. Acceleration is equal to final speed minus initial speed over time taken. So final speed was 20, initial was 0 because from rest, divided by time taken was 10, so that will give you 2 meters per second. That is your answer for part A. Okay. Now for part B, it then travels at a constant speed of 20 meters per second for the next 10 seconds. Okay, so basically increased, and then at the same speed it continued the rest of its journey for the next 10 seconds. So you will have something like this. This is the first 10 seconds, and then next 10, that will be 20, and the speed here will be 20 if you look at the velocity time graph. Now part B, find the total distance traveled in the 20 seconds. So as you guys know, distance traveled is the area under graph. If you look at this, this is a trapezium with these two sides will be your parallel sides, and this is your distance in between. So let's use our formula for B. That will be half times sum of parallel sides, that will be 20, plus 10, and times the height in between, that is 20. That should give you what? Let's see. So this will be 10, 20 plus 10 will be 30 times 10, that will be 300. So your distance travel in the 20 seconds, that will be 300. Now for part C, on the axis below, we have to draw the speed time graph for the first 20 seconds. Oh, so this is the same as this. As you can see, it should be like that. And then part 2, the distance time graph for the same 20 seconds. So one by one, the first one is pretty easy. We have done this already. So we know that 0 to 10, it accelerates to, in a straight line, at a constant acceleration to the value of 20. And then for the rest, it continued at the same speed for the next 10 seconds. So it has to be a straight line, horizontal line. So that will be the first one. And now we have to find the graph for the distance time graph. So observe. So one thing you need to understand is that for the distance time graph, the gradient of this graph is equal to the velocity, which means the way you're going to draw this graph will depend on this and this. So what is the gradient of this graph? As you can see, the gradient is a positive value. It is going up, right? So that's why your graph from 0 to 10 will have to be going up as well. But first we have to find distance traveled between 0 to 10. So you will do half times base times height. That should give you 100. So 0 to 10, that should be 100. So let's do it together. So one by one, so block by block. So first we do this for this part. Distance traveled is half times base times height. Because it is a triangle, that should be 100. So we know that in the first 10 seconds it traveled 100 meters. Okay? And now, how would you connect these 2 points? That is a good question, because you want to know, do you have to be a straight line? Does it have to be something like this or like this? Right? It can be confusing. So given that your gradient here is a positive value, it's going up, because of that it has to be something like this, has to be increasing. As you can see, increasing. Now let's say your value here was this way, your graph here will have been this way. Okay, just to advise. Now for this one, 10 to 20, what is the distance traveled? It is area of a rectangle. That was 200, so 100 plus 200, that will be 300. So 20 will be this point. And then for this one, how would you join these two? Because the gradient here is 0, it will be joined by a straight line. Because the velocity is constant, you have to be joined by a straight line. Okay, so this one is curved and this one is a straight line. That will be your question number 22. Now let's move on to question number 23. This one is a locus question. The diagram below is a scale drawing of a field. In the drawing, 1 centimeter represents 10 meters. Now we have to express the scale in terms of 1 to n. So first thing you can see is the units are different, right? Here we have centimeters and here we have meters. So let's convert 10 meters to centimeters. So first off, 1 meter is equal to 10. Is it 10 or 100? 100 centimeters. Yeah, that's what it is, right? So 10 will be 1000 centimeters. So you will have 1 centimeter to 1000 centimeters. So we have to cancel these two out. So you have 1 to 1000. That will be your answer for part A. Now for part B, treasure is buried in the field. Okay, the field means somewhere in this region that we don't know yet. Now part 1, it is known that the treasure is, the first condition, it is within 60 meters from sea. So using the scale of 1 to 10 meters, so it means it needs to be divided by 10, that should be 6 centimeters from sea. So first let's measure 6 centimeters using your ruler. You have to use compass in this question. So 6 centimeters should be about here from the point C. So C is here. Okay, that's the first condition. And then part 2 has to be nearer to A than to C. Okay, nearer to A than to C has to be a perpendicular bisector of AC. So let's go to point A, measure distance more than halfway, arc here and arc here, and then same distance, go to your point C, connect with your arcs on both sides. So you have something here and something here. So by joining these two, you will form the perpendicular bisector of AC. Okay, that will be the second condition. And the last one here we have, it has to be equidistant from A, B, and AC. A and A are common, so you have to draw the angle bisector of angle A. So go to your A, and then we have to measure distance. Let's say about here, and then go to this point, arc here, and then go to this point, intersect the first arc. So you can see that we have a point of intersection. We have to join with your point A. Okay, so that will be your 3 conditions for this one. Now use 1, 2, and 3 to construct the locus of possible positions of the treasure. Find the extreme position of this locus, label them T1 and T2. So the extreme positions. So let's see, what do we have? So the first condition has to be on this line. So inside of this line, right? But we are trying to find the extreme position, has to be on the extremities of this line. So on this line, has to be also on this line, and also on this line. So let's see what are two values we can find. So according to this, let's do one by one. So within the circle, inside of the arc, okay, that's the first condition, has to be nearer to A than to C, has to be on top. Okay, so now we have this one on top. Now has to be equidistant from A, B, and C, has to be on this line. So the two possible positions that we can see is on this one, or should be this one, on the extremities of the locus. That will be T1, and this will be T2. And that will be your answer for part B of question 23. Okay, let's move on to question number 24. This is the last question of the paper. This one is a transformation question. So here we have a triangle T given to you. Now part A, we have triangle A is an image of T under the enlargement with center OO, okay, and scale factor -2. So we have a scale factor of -2. We have to draw and label triangle A on the diagram. So let's try. So basically our idea is that we have to map this onto A with the center OO. So to find the coordinates of A, we can use our formula as well, which is matrix times object is equal to image. So matrix has been given, not given to, but you have to know whenever you have enlargement and you have the scale factor given to you already, and you have this center is 0, 0, you can use your equation. So matrix is -2, 0, 0, -2, times object. Object is this triangle, 3, 3. You can find the image of A. So -2 times this will be -4, 0. Right? So this rows by column, so that will be -6. That will be rows by column, -6 as well. Now for this one, that will be 0, this one will be -2, this one will be -6. So let's plot image of A. -4, 0, -4, 0 will be right here. -6, -2 will be right here. And then we have -6, -6 right here. So as you can see, that will be your image under this enlargement. Okay, that will be labeled as your triangle A. So you can only use this formula when you have center O and you know the matrix of your transformation. So you have to know this pretty easy. Enlargement is pretty simple. Okay, it is the scale factor will be here 0, 0, k. That is the matrix representing enlargement, and then the scale factor will be k. Here we have -2, so replace -2 here. You know this already. Then you can use your formula matrix times object. Object is T equal to image, which is A. Now part 2, describe fully the single transformation that maps A onto T. So the reverse one, how would that be? So pretty simple again. That should be, it will be enlargement again, because the size is changing back to the smaller size. Enlargement center OO and scale factor has to be -half. Okay, that will be part A of the question. So the reason why we choose -half is because whenever you have your center in between those two, it is on the other side of the image or the shape or the object, the scale factor has to be negative. Okay, that's the reason why it is negative here. Now for part B, the triangle B is an image of triangle T, okay, under the transformation by this matrix. So same steps. The matrix is 0, -1, -1, 0, times T, 2, 0, 3, 1, 3, 3 is equal to So rows by column, so that will be 0. Rows by column, that should be -1. Rows by column, that should be -3. So rows by column, that should be -2, -3, and -3. That should be your image under this transformation. So let's plot this now. 0 minus 2 will be here. Then we have -1, -3. And then we have -3, -3. So by joining those 3 points, you have your triangle right here. This will be a triangle labeled as B. Okay, so and then let's move on to the last one now. Find the matrix representing the transformation that maps A onto B. So let's see, how can you do that? Mapping A onto B. So we have 2 steps to follow. So first, to map A onto T, we have used what? So as you have seen here, A, we have to map A onto T first, and then T map onto B. So step by step. So to map A onto T, we have to use our transformation matrix enlargement, -half, 0, 0 minus half. That is to map A onto T. Then to map T onto B, we have to apply this one, which is 0 minus 1, -1, 0. So we have to multiply those two to find this matrix. So let's find out what is the answer. So rows by column. So this time this plus this time that will be 0. This times, so this time this, and this time this, that should be half. Okay. And this one, rows by column, that should be half again. And rows by column, that should be 0. So the answer is 0, half, half, 0. Okay, that will be your answer for part C of the question. That was the last question of this paper. I hope that was somewhat helpful. As always, thank you for watching. I will see you soon.